Grand Finals in the top right-hand side, our yellow Zerg player from the Shopify Rebellion. This is gonna be Lambo. He fights against the Teal Terran in the bottom left-hand side from Team Liquid. It is, of course, the one and the only Clem. See how he does in the TvZ. As Lambo just comes off a win against Gabe. Gotta feel good. See if he can feel good enough to get the W. Find the indie camera, guys. I'm not observing 9.5 hours in. I promise you right now that is going to be one of the worst things you'll see today. As we get our game set up, obviously, and we wait to see what's going to happen. Wait to see how the game's going to play out. Excited to see the Clem TvZ. That's always fun. When was the last time Clem won one of these cups? Let me go find. It was a couple weeks ago, right? He beat Time in the finals. Dare I say I even casted that one as well? I think I did. Oh my god, I've got so many tabs open that are not the tabs that I want. Oh, not the tabs that I need. Have a quick peek at this as we come on in. Actually, let's just look at some stats in general in the ESL Open Cup Europe for these two. Clem, obviously, second most wins, 35, only 12 behind Hero Marine. Lambo, the only player to have won it twice, and he sits behind MaxPack, Showtime, Reno, Clem, and Hero Marine as other players who have won it more than once. Lambo has seen the finals a few times, though. He's got 4 second-place finishes as well. So this is his 7th finals in an Open Cup. Let's see if he can turn it into his 3rd victory or not. I can say Clem looking for number 35. Number 36 tonight, sorry. Very impressive as the Reaper will fight against feelings here to start us out. Get some damage done initially and get things going, and we'll find a Ling looking for 2, gets 2, grenade down. Drone has to Spore Crawler. Man, that Reaper didn't take a hit until now as Clem finds damage already at the start of this one. Strong start as the Reaper just about gets away for a few moments there. And we'll now take a turn around, come back, have another check-in to see what else is happening, I'm sure. We've seen the Link speed coming up then. Couple Hellion Starport, all of that on the way. We'll get this going. That was kind of cool to see those stats. Like I said, Lambo with the 2 wins already. Who did Lambo win against then? Let's have a look. I just wanted to see when Clem last won, but he won a little while, 2 weeks ago. Let's have a look at Lambo. Lambo was in the finals of number 6, number 15, number 27, and number 41. And then he won number 49, and then Lambo didn't really play in these cups all the time, very consistently. He won number 85 as well, so it's been a lot of additions. In fact, he's not been in the finals since he won number 85. Wow, so he's not been in the finals for 50 of these cups for basically a year since Lambo last made the finals. Like I say, he didn't play in all of these. He was never a big fan of playing the Open Cups, but I think since he had to start playing them last year a little bit at the end, try and race into Katowice for a better seed with Showtime, he realized this year maybe he should try and play a few more of them just in case it comes down to that kind of close situation again. Especially because I guess Lambo sees himself in Europe as one of these players that can be on that borderline kind of, you know, he expects to get to Katowice, but he might be borderline on getting the better seed into the group stage straight away instead of the bracket. Or getting into the group stage instead of the qualifier bracket, or say, you know, what used to be the open bracket. So that's what happened last year, and I'm sure he'd like to try and come through and make the groups again a bit more comfortably this year. Obviously, he got the groups last year because MaxPack's dropped out. I'm pretty sure he would like to come through and just get groups again more comfortably, and that's a big part of why he says, well, I'll just pick up some EPT points here and there in these weeklies, put the effort in, and make it happen. So, yo, Trandalgan as well, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. To K, just as this gets started, KRX, Alaska Winter 93, D Wilson 123, Vasco de Gama, and Falcon R1X as well. All the X's in those names, it felt like. Thank you so much, Trandalgan, for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate it, mate, and I hope you're doing wonderfully. And yo, Job, well done, Wardy, for the £10 donation. Says thank you for providing great something. I reckon great content while I am at work. I actually have to check my Nope, it says, thank you for providing great entertainment, solid work. There we go. Thank you so much for the £10 donation. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. As we are about to start talking about the game, guys, I do promise. It's not been super interesting or quick or whatever else so far, right? I mean, Hellion, Liberator, Fast Dim, very Clem build. I mean, he really loves to play like this. We've not really seen this come to much. 2 Lings and a drone died. Really minimal. And obviously, Clem keeps that Liberator alive to strike again a bit later down the line. He's still got the Hellions poking at creep. And this is what Clem is so good at in this matchup, just consistently being able to be so annoying, so active with these units, and just making opponent's life a little bit miserable. Got a creep teamer here with these few Hellions. And just got our Queen set up on the edge. As we got our Hellions maybe wanting to come back in, a little bit more fun, try and find a little bit more action over here perhaps, maybe, possibly. Hellions coming through and a couple creep teamers are going to start going down, so we do clean out a little bit of the creep spread already. And a little Ling counterattack goes, as Clem gets his push going, Lings are going to get the entire 3rd mineral line. So this kind of becomes a bit more important now for Clem to actually find some proper damage. He's going to set the Libber behind so he can actually use that to help zone out some of these units. Give him somewhere to run back to, but he's just not finding the damage that he's taken. As he is taking more damage at home, that run by's continued into the natural, and he is broken through. So 10, 11, 12 SCVs. I said 12, and he do get to 12. Good prediction, Wardy. Good call. 12 SCVs going down in total across the map, and Clem, like I say, just not really finding the value over here to make up for that. There is a tank, but it's just been out of the fight this entire time. He's just not been able to get that forward at all. Definitely made a bit of a difference as we see these Lings trying to get a wraparound. Marines taking some damage. And that tank is going to die. That Liberator is going to die as well. It's also having that picked off. Ally upgrade's going to be complete and +2 attack on the way in. A couple of reactors coming through as we do stim up a few of these creep tumors. So getting rid of a couple of those already. Overlord is being picked away as we load up and go toward the main base. Overlord goes down. Queen's just going through. The medevac taking some extra shots and is just going to boost out down to the right-hand side. So getting that set up. Go to 5 bases then, obviously extra hatch coming into play. Get that macro online as we clean out an Overlord in the center. Clem definitely slowed down a lot from where he wants to be on the back end of this aggression that he starts the game out with, but can absolutely still as well obviously bring quite the fight from here on out and bring it to his opponent a little bit. So watching out for that as the medevac has to lift up a few of those Marines, get them out the way, get them out of trouble. It's a very well-handled Balin run by, only hits 3 SCVs. I mean, that's what Clem needs to keep on doing from here on out. He can't really afford to take further losses, right? So he needs to be a little bit on top of all the rest of it if he wants to be okay here as the Marines continue from the left now through toward the center. Gonna get through. Ling going down. We've got Ling Bane going to run down the right-hand side. And Marine's going to stand there, push back the Lings. So they're going to get turned the heck away. As 2-2 continues up and online again. Ling Bane is looking to come back into play. Down the left, looking to try and counterattack it through. Clem still pushing the center of the map as well. We'll see if he can succeed with this directional attack. Wow, this wall not really fully online, but does at least force the Balins to use a few of themselves on it before we go through. Now the SCVs have to figure out an escape. But actually, the SCVs all live again. Clem's been, again, pretty good. Oh, no, did I speak too soon? Honestly? I mean, honestly, not really. 6, 7 SCVs for the amount of units that commit in here is really not that bad. Obviously, you lost a few depots as well. It wasn't all plain sailing, but I mean, I felt like it could have been so much worse. At the same time now, Lambo's taking a fight on the map, but it feels like Clem had a pretty good jump on that as well. And man, I mean, come on. Clem is still kicking here. 2-2 against 1-1 would have been a big part of why that fight maybe was so successful for Clem. Obviously, Widowmine shots looked as though they were decent as well. Just lots going on in multiple places at the same time. And that's what Clem tries to do. He tries to make the game go his way because of that. As Here comes our lane Bane. Widowmine shot here. Decent, not crazy. The tank will go down. This Widowmine just burrowed on top of the units. Okay, good split in the end from Lambo. Minimizes the damage taken. If Clem can target fire down some of the Bane lanes here, he doesn't feel comfortable in doing it on creep. Or maybe just not in that situation. Didn't feel it was worthwhile. So just lifts up and goes to threaten the main base. But realistically, that's not going to work because he actually has so many low HP units that they're dropping out and just dying instantly to the Lings. Widowmine shot still going off here and there as we have got the Widowmine still pushing up this side. Things getting blown up. Overlord going to be taking some damage. Widowmine's continuing to connect here, there, and everywhere at the moment, so continue to find themselves some good value as we do lift up back off the right. We gotta go elsewhere. Clem keeping the aggression going here. He's actually got the supply lead as Lambo not spending all of his money. It's a lava issue. He doesn't have the lava to spend all of his cash. And now the Widowmines that are just like here and there, well, that one hits the Terran units, but they're just picking up a few units here and there. They're making Lambo think twice maybe, and Clem is still playing all over the place. Stims in over here, finds himself 1 queen, 2 queen, 3 queens to go for 4. It's a quad kill. Clem is just everywhere. He is going to start losing these mines at least, so Lambo finally dealing with that. But again, as you're dealing with that, that's likely why you're, not quite dealing with your queens properly and everything. Clem is just playing a fast game all around the map, and he has absolutely drawn himself back into it from what was a really rough start. Lambo got himself into a great position early. I feel like the initial run-bys and everything were absolutely spot on. They're what you wanted, they're what you need, and well, now Clem is just all over the place again. Now in the main base, he actually loses out. He loses. Oh my god, the Widowmine drop as well. I can't even finish a sentence before Clem is somewhere else dealing further damage. Even when something goes bad for him, it's like, oh, boom, 20 drones just died. Now I've got a 16 worker lead. You're trying to go to ultras, and I've got a supply lead, worker lead. Come on, I mean, what are you going to do? Widowmine clips a whole bunch of Zerglings here. I don't think Lambo gets the chance to get to ultras properly. We do see concussive shells and marauders being added in, so we are seeing something of a response from Clem to say, hey, look, I appreciate that maybe that's something that can sort of happen. Lambo's not paying attention here either right now. Boom, boom, boom. Whoa, what a split, though. Okay, you might not have seen it straight away, but he did respond with a hell of a split. Credit to Lambo where it's due. Those drones split away and minimized the damage. 3 mines only took 3 drones. That was dead impressive, actually. That was really, really sick, no? That was really cool. Holy crap. Again, this Widowmine maybe not quite so great. As we do see Marines on the left, an army on the right. Oh, Lambo's army's actually going to be in a weird spot. Oh! The Banes kind of turn onto Clem's forces, but Clem mostly lost Marauders. Widowmines here are going to be massive. I don't think Lambo expected some of these Widowmines to already be burrowed. I mean, to be fair, there's only 1. The rest were not, and Lambo is now the one that's going to try and go a little bit here, there, and absolutely everywhere, apparently. So, going to be the one to switch it up a little bit as we do see this run-by coming in, and Clem continues to lose SCVs. Bottom right is going to be a group of Lings that run straight into a Bioforce, though, so that shouldn't go too well. Lambo actually loses all those Lings before he retreats them, as Clem is trying to establish a base down here with the Widowmines to connect. Ultra's about to be on the map. Clem does not have a Ghost Academy, so he's got mines to help him against the Ultras, but he doesn't have anything else really beefy. 5 Marauders only. When the Ultras come out, I mean, if Clem fights like this, he should lose the game. But obviously, the hope is that he stops fighting like that. That was going to be a massive Widowmine shot. No, looks like Lambo dealt with it. I feel like we turned away at a bad moment there. I feel like that Widowmine could have been huge, or the split might have been cool. Not too important, obviously. Fast game, lots going on. Hard to make the right call observant every time as our Ultras are going to come through for the SCVs. Chasing down to the bottom side. Planetary Fortress is finished here and will protect against those Zerglings that are trying to come through. I actually really want to get this Planetary Fortress. Oh my goodness, the Planetary goes down. Clem chasing, hoping he can maybe find some extra Ultra kills at the tail end of this. At the same time, Lambo strikes on the other side. Again, Lambo, now he's everywhere. For a few minutes it was Clem, and now it's Lambo, and suddenly we've just lost base after base from Clem, or at least mineral lines. He's about to finish 3-3, so his unit's a little bit better than they were moments ago. We'll find a few Zerglings here. Lambo, 81 drones at this point. Just needs to keep on trading and keeping Clem's economy down, and then he should be okay. He should be home free. Yeah, run-bys like this right into mineral lines especially. Those are the sort of things that hurt a lot. Maraud is dying to Lings before they can touch Ultras. Clem is actually just pushing to try and win the game in the top left, I think, but I want to say that Lambo has enough here to fight it. A few Banes, a couple Ultras, but most importantly, about 20 transfusions available. Well, the Banelings connect, and I think Clem is in the process of typing out GG. Lambo will win game number 1 of this best of 5 final. And what a start to the best of 5 it turns out to be. In the bottom left-hand side, we do have our yellow Zerg player from the Shopify Rebellion. It's Lambo. Hesitated because I was like, which way around do I want to play? I always kind of like hesitate on Data C, because to me, like, it's like Lambo's left and Clem's right at the start, and I'm like, oh, well, that means I want to put Lambo on the top of the scoreboard, right? But then really it's Clem is top and Lambo's bottom, so it is right the way it is now, as Clem is in the top right. And that doesn't feel right straight away because it's almost left versus right now, but it becomes top versus bottom, right? So it's just the way that the spawning locations are. It makes me hesitate sometimes, so I'm like, wait a sec, which way around do I like to do this? Just make sure I'm doing it right, make sure I'm content. Supposed to have it completely perfect, cannot deal with it any other way. Why does almost no one have actual income per minute in their overlay? It helps a lot. It's this little thing down here. The only problem with it is on this one, it gets covered up when you select an overlord or anything, and then you have to select units to follow it around, but it shows up every now and then. I honestly, personally, I actually think it's too busy of a stat to have on the screen all the time because it's a number that's constantly changing. I think it looks very messy when it's like written here. I do think it's useful, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's a very messy stat, and it does clog up the UI a lot to have it like written next to things. And I know that I don't know about, I mean, maybe this is just because I'm very experienced in StarCraft, but like in my eyes, like I don't need to see what the income per minute necessarily is, because I don't really think of it as like, whoa, 3,000 minerals, but I think it's like, oh, he's got 80 workers and he's got like 5 bases. Or I think of it as, oh, and it's like 10 minutes in, so I roughly know like the main base is mined out. You know, to me, that's enough information, never mind, oh, he's mining exactly this amount of money. I don't know, I guess it's probably because I've always thought about it as work account rather than an income. So to me, seeing the work account's always enough. The updated version of the UI that I'm using here does have actually income numbers on it, and I think overall it is an improvement. I do think it looks a bit busy, but I think it's okay. So it'll be on the new UI once they finish it. I tried to use it already. Turns out I was a little bit too quick to get into using it, and apparently that was my bad. Because then I was like, "Hey man," I contacted the guy that was updating. And I was like, "Hey man, some of the stuff's broken." He's like, "Yeah, well, it's not finished yet." I was like, "Oh right, I tried to cast with it already." Like, whoops. Yeah, my bad. Straight, but just sitting here with a single Ling kill and nipping at the hatchery. Threatening. You might die if you become a hatchery. Cancel yourself now. Save yourself the pain of evolving only to fail. Turns out it doesn't work. Zerg don't speak Terran. Don't know what the Reaper's saying, they just get hit. When it's a hatchery, they wouldn't be able to speak anyway, right? I guess Zerg probably do speak human, but just ignore the fact. Let's just not get into the details, right? Let's just be happy with what I said. So it's not that important. So we've seen our third CC is on the way through here from Clem. So quick 3 bases. He's going to play into the Banshee straight away as well. So get that up and running. Have our couple queens continue through as we obviously we'll wait to see what the banshees can get done. Clem hoping to find some good eco damage early on, utilize these banshees as well. One day to see a bit of a large map as well, so one you don't really want to let Lambo get too much control over, because then he is just gonna absolutely keep it up and keep it rolling basically throughout, so something to be a little worried about. Income's kind of misleading for Terran if they just muled. Yeah, it's kind of like I say, it's a funny one because it's one of those ones where you can look at it and be like, oh my god, the Terran's so far ahead. But then the Zerg's just like transferring drones or something to a new base as well, right? I actually do think worker count is just the better statistic. There are, in very stable scenarios, it's nice to maybe know the actual income. And obviously in some weird scenarios, it's nice to know how much is actually mining versus, what the drone count is. But a lot of the time, actually, work count gives you a better overview of the game than income would, so. But like I say, overlays are generally starting to include it because a lot of people seem to think they want income on the graph, on the screen, which is fine. It is just busy, and it didn't really perplex me ever. I just thought it was an interesting kind of discussion. It's definitely one of those things where as a newer viewer, you probably would like it a lot more because it makes the game easier to understand, right? But like I say, it could still be misleading at points. I guess there's no perfect solution in that scenario. Unless it turns itself off when too many mules drop down. The UI's so smart, it knows when to hide parts of itself. Whoa! No way! To the left, they're going to find themselves a couple of creep teamers here, and Queen's taking some shots. We're going to get another drone. That's 5 workers killed, as we got a Banshee's obviously finding some damage as well. Clem did lose 1 Banshee, though, so 1 Banshee down as he has his upgrades rolling through, and his first medevac drops are starting to get across the map here. They'll be good to go sooner rather than later, you would hope. He's just going to fight a little bit, a few Lings taking damage. We are going to be seeing our Marines running forward, and these Lings are going to get turned around. Aliens, Marines still coming through. The couple of Queens wanting to come forward as well. Overseer taking some damage. Queen's taking a lot of damage, my goodness. And yeah, these Lings keep on running forward. The Hellions will continue to deal damage here as they pull back once again. See that Bane still coming through. The Lings as well. Splitting up our units and doing a pretty good job of it for the moment. There's the Hydra's coming up, Bane's coming up, and melee upgrades, our groove spines, all coming into play. Now, this fight continues, and Clem honestly feels like he's doing very well. He's soaked up so many of the Banes, he finishes off the Queen, now lifts. And now he cloaks up the Banshee and just gets a couple of units that are trying to chase down, which immediately forces Lambo back. So he gives himself the freedom to get away without issue as well. Obviously nice. Definitely a little bit of a W. And here's the next army. Now he's not sieged right away here, these tanks. I mean, even when it felt like Lambo had a moment to jump on them there, it didn't really matter as Clem just keeps on pushing. And he's going to get rid of a few more of these Banelings, continue to drop those down as we go. Spore Crawl on his bottom side gets picked off. A couple Queens coming through. Tanks do take down a Queen. He's going to stem again. Ling Bane from the top. It's going to be seeing the other Banes continuing through as well. A couple tanks getting picked away at. I mean, this is Lambo busting this army back, but not really clearing it out. I mean, the units, the Marines at least, are still going to survive, and it costs Lambo a lot to break those tanks out, or to break out of those tanks, so it does feel like Clem's momentum stays on his side. Upgrades are even for now, but Clem will also have a 2-2 timing at some point, which is going to be scary as well, and you can just see that Lambo can't seem to fight. And losing a 5th hatchery is kind of brutal when the Terran's up on a 4th base and building his own 5th. So it does feel like this game is completely out of control for Lambo. As the supplies are now starting to reflect that a little more as well. Let's just start to happen in the last few moments specifically. Again, a little fight at the end here that actually looked a little bit better for Lambo, but probably too little too late realistically when you kind of look at it in total. Medevac of mines. It's way down the map. These few Marines just gonna lift into the medevacs here and escape out of there. Get us out of here. I do zoom on out nice and safely. Bane, Hydra still coming through, still trying to make something happen as we have got the Widow Mines over here. Gonna start dropping off, and uh-oh, Lambo, no! Oh god, I mean, the last mine even hit the Queen, and he still got 12, so not bad at all. Yeah, just gonna put Lambo further behind. Now 2-2 is done. Clem's fights for the next 35-45 seconds are gonna be very good for him. This might just be one to look back on his Lambo and say, you know what, come back to this replay later. Let's get into game 3 of this finals. I understand, obviously, he's trying everything. He's still trying to counterattack. He's not going to give it up easily, but it's starting to look very bad for him. And he is going to get lurkers, I suppose, but Clem's already setting up a Ghost Academy too, so he's going to be pretty prepped there as well. I guess Clem can't really attack into him. The problem is he's going to get to lurkers in such a bad state. Now he's actually going to drop this main, which forces the Hydras to come around, so he actually gives himself a place he can fight. You have to protect the Hive. If you lose the Hive here, you can't actually make good lurkers because you'll be missing the upgrades that you need. Clem will just lose a few units. I mean, it's kind of crazy plays like that might actually allow Lambo back in more than anything else. The thing is, though, as well, lurkers do not just kind of come online now. You've got to get the upgrades still, and that's going to take a little bit. Obviously, you can go without the upgrades, but then they're not going to be as good. Definitely a factor at the moment. Bane coming through, Medevac's just trying to escape away. A little bit of buy on the left-hand side, fighting as well. Still backing up and trying to see what else can happen. Size expands will finish, and 12 lurkers are going to be popping out. Nidus Network already coming through as well, so that now just starting here. Going to be getting that online, and another way in which Lambo might try and get back in this game. Some Nidus player could go very well for him, so don't mind the idea. See if it can deliver, as Clem's obviously trying to fight over this 5th base position. That one Ghost is like, that might be a few too many lurkers for me to grab. This was pretty nice control from Clem, dodging back from the first round of spine hits from those lurkers, but obviously didn't really turn out to be enough in the end to make too much of a difference. Bio back through the center, heading toward the upper right-hand side, and away they go for a few moments as our Lings continue to set up in the center. Some units on the top left. I mean, Lambo will begin to stabilize. I mean, that is what the lurkers allow you to do. But Clem just feels like, again, Ghost already coming out. 3-3 kicking in. Lambo's Nidus is coming up. It's going to get into the main. Okay, that's how you win games, guys. That is absolutely how you win games. Lurkers on top of the production. Uh-oh. This is actually a big issue. As we'll see how Clem responds. And Nidus in the natural as well. Going to buy a bit of time as Clem's bases are suddenly under attack all over the place. Oh dear. Oh my god. Holy sh... Is this Nidus actually going to win in the game? The lurkers just aren't quite in reach of the ramp. If they were, getting up here would have been difficult. The snipes aren't coming through easily. The choke points are still hurting. The lurkers will die, but look at all the other bases of Clem. This base, pretty much dead. This base, dead. This base, well, pretty much dead. Lurkers on top of it. Ghost running down this ramp. Scan's going down. He's got all of his orbitals lifted apart from his natural. His natural is his only current actual mining base in play. 36 SUVs remain as 50 have died. Lambo finds mega damage. One Nidus sets off a trail of events that Clem just crumbles to. But Lambo lost a lot in the process as well. That has to be said. Lambo is struggling with army supply right now, but if he can get an army up to fight this, I mean, it's still a lot of ghosts that live. And if his lurkers were a bit closer to the ramp in the main, I actually don't think Clem would have been able to get into the main base. If he was able to shoot at the units as they came up the ramp, that would have surely just been no cleanup at all, and then that would have been really bad. Snipes come down. These Hydras try and move forward. A Baneling to try and just cancel some snipes. Oh, does Lambo not have enough units at the tail end of this? I mean, he was struggling before this happened. We just don't have overseers to detect the ghosts right now. Oh my god, he's still counterattacking. He's putting Clem completely on the ropes on the other side of the map, but doesn't matter. The ghosts are kind of out of energy, guys. The ghosts do not have much energy at all, but Clem's collapsing in from two sides. Clem's still going to win the game. Oh my goodness. Wow. GG. Well, Lambo just went for one big attack that might have been able to do it, and honestly, I thought he'd done enough, but he had to find a defense afterward, and he just couldn't. Again, maybe those lurkers a bit further forward in Clem's main. Map that not a lot of Zerg players like, but in the best of 5, sometimes it does come through, depending on what you prefer to veto, so... It is Stargazers in the top left-hand side. Our yellow Zerg player from the Rebellion is Lambo. And that, my friends, is some pretty darn serious lagging. Is that me? Like it's gone. Top right. Clem. That's your Terran player from Liquid, of course. Just need to tap out and run some ads when that game ends on the stream delay, guys. So just give me 1 second. The FPS will drop off here for just a moment. Otherwise, you guys will get ads during the game. And what a close game, even though Clem really dominated that game as well. So for Lambo to give himself even a chance at the tail end has got to make him at least feel pretty good. You know? Oh, yeah. So I'm just grabbing a drink. It is freaking hot in here right now, guys. It's very, very warm tonight. Been sweating all day, actually. It's I feel a bit minging, not gonna lie. Very ready to jump in the shower after this grand final. Clem is playing a little bit funky here. He's going to play Rax. Rax after a CC first on, well, the in-base, which obviously you will start to get into proper location in a second. Fun opening, a little bit different for sure. A little bit of a different route to be taking. Have a orbital moving in position, then get that going. Sorry, guys. Long day. Trying to rest my voice a little bit before the game kicks off again. Apologies. As we have Stimpack starting, so going to turn this into like a 2-1-1 off the CC first. So you get the greedy economy of the command center first, and then you're able to kind of go from there, which is already quite exciting. Stimpack is on the way up, like mentioned, and obviously let's see what Clem can get done with this opening. It's really cool to see that both players are kind of having their own kind of phases of the game where, you know, at points Clem is like, oh, I'm just unstoppable, I'm everywhere, what are you going to do about me? On the other side, Lambo's like, what am I going to do about you? Then he's like, wait, I can do this. He's like, bam, 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 left, right. And Clem's like, oh, God, I know you're going left, right, but I can't keep up. He's starting to die, takes damage. These last 2 games have been kind of... They've both had those kind of moments, right? Where it's swung a little bit. It's been that back and forth. Been very, very fun to watch. No doubt about it. Very fun indeed. Marines continue to stack up. We're about to see our medevacs. Baneling Nest is early from Lambo. The thing is with the Baneling Nest against 2-on-1, you don't really want it, no? Like, the Banes just don't just get target fired down. You kind of just want Ling Queen and just enough to kind of push back. We are going to see a tank follow up, and what Clem might be aiming for, this is kind of cool. I feel like I've seen this before, where you go kind of 2-on-1 and then you start dropping tanks here as well, and you basically push from the in-base into the main. And basically the Zerg has to fight that. They can't just give up their main. So that's actually really difficult. And it means you can drop off creep a lot of the time as well, so there's not units that can really justify being there. And yeah, with the tank follow-up straight away, I actually really feel like that's what we're probably going to start seeing. 2 more medevacs. I absolutely feel like that's the direction we're going in. It's very important then that this first group of units doesn't go down. And you can see Lambo is already thinking about dropping creep in this direction too, because he knows that maybe is a possibility, and he needs to kind of be able to protect as much of his main as possible. For now, Clem will go elsewhere and say, well, if you're going to hard defend your main, I will take advantage and deny some creep. I still think his main target is likely to be Lambo's main base a few moments down the line here. Yeah, Lambo actually sees the next 2 medevacs coming, which, I mean, that is where the Banelings will come in useful. You could argue that his Bane Nest didn't need to be as early as it was. Still, he's on 61 drones, guys. There's a lot of workers. As this attack comes in, Clem is going to lift that tank into position a little bit quicker. Tank? Siege? I'm going to get the scan. I feel like he almost lifted up the tank by mistake there. Yeah, both the tanks on difficult to deal with positions. A lot of queens. It's one thing that Lambo does have going for him, that he's really worked on that queen count and really making sure that that's going to be something he can maybe get a lot done with and at least slow Clem down with. Ideally, if the queens move forward and trade out transfusions with this army, and he doesn't use any of his Ling Bane, that is really the ideal situation. The thing is for Clem is, how do you get any further forward than this? The tanks don't really want to move further forward than this. Right, Lambo's setting up a counterattack. A lot of Lings going around the bottom of the map. Feels comfortable with the queen defense, so if he can get a Bane burst into Clem's main, that could be kind of huge. He's going to just check forward now. 15 Banes. Oh my god, and Clem's sending more units across the map. This is probably going to work, because I don't see Clem necessarily breaking through on this side. Queens transfusing each other up now, working wonders. The transfusion's starting to wear thin. And he's going to take so much damage here, no? What does Clem have? He's got 4 Marines in his base. Clem, he's just reinforced across the map. Oh my goodness. Well, here we go. Lambo is going to go for the bust in this army. I don't even know if you need to do that. Clem surely has to bust you, so just wait for him to make the move. Why did you have to go running in off creep into the tanks, right? Well, Clem is losing 10 SCVs so far, 12, 13, 14, and rising. I mean, his production completely shut down. Lambo should just have this game under full control, no? These Banes don't have Baneling speed, and that's the one thing. Dealing with this army across the map is going to be tough, as Clem has lost a lot of SCVs. He's going to kill off this tank. I'm surprised at how much Clem actually got up defensively here, as the Banes just want to try and reach these Marines. He forces the lift up. That might be all he needs. Ling's got on top of the first tank here. Queens as well getting forward. We're moments away from Baneling speed, and I don't think Clem ever deals with this from that point on. Some Lings actually starting to deny an engineering bay. They shouldn't get the +1. The 4 units get there to defend, but at this point, Clem is cleaned out over on this side. Oh my goodness. 1 extra Ling, 1 last Ling, he gets it! Oh my god, +1 attack dies. Clem drops the mule too late. Lambo, 59 to 31 workers, looking great in economy, looking great elsewhere. And I think he's got himself a game that he can absolutely take home and take a lead in the series with. Clem scans bottom left. Wants to know the exact drone count. It's very much a scam, which is like, how much economy do you have? How do I need to play this? Can I just sit back? Can I just defend? Lambo starts up melee upgrades, and the game actually will now calm down a little bit. Oh, but more Lings showing up. Come on, Clem, you can't take more damage. I mean, it's just a wide open base, and Lambo punishes it, and, well, there's again, just basically no units here, and the Lings will do decently. Obviously, an armor upgrade actually does help quite a bit right now, so that's one thing, I guess, that'll be a little funky, but otherwise, yeah, looking pretty decent. Yeah, the armor upgrade is nice. Like I say, it was actually a pretty big deal he denied the +1 attack, because 1-1 right now might actually be enough for Clem to get back in this game properly. Lambo's still trying to hold. Baneling speed definitely a big gauge compared to what he had previously, but there's not enough units to really get on top of those Marines, at least for long enough. Well, because he's got another counterattack coming in. Clem's setting up a Liberator right now to defend this, but as Lambo runs in, man, there's just going to be banelings for days. SCVs are going to just die. I would like him to... I mean, it's nice that he's going after the army, but maybe just aim for the drones. I feel like the army's going to come naturally anyways, as these Banes are going to chase this army all the way back to a liftoff. The tanks in the main fully dealt with. Clem's losing more SCVs, and he just cannot get a handle on this game. Not at all, as the Lings continue after SCVs. I'm going to try and get into that main base there. It's going to get cleaned up finally, but now Lambo's going to have 1-1. So his upgrades are looking a lot better. He's been hunting medevacs over here. Clem flies over here. This time doesn't need to scan to see what the economy situation is like. Like I say, Lambo really is just with a 1-1 away from being very comfortable in this game, I feel like, and that's now finishing. Again, it was a huge snipe on the +1 attack. That might have made the world a difference. Liberator see just the main Lings and Banes coming across again. Lambo will just not let up the counterattacks. He's got so many Banes to roll into this base. How the hell would you ever hold that as Clem? I actually have no idea how you meant to hold that as Clem. Well, SCVs are going to go goodbye once again. Again, there's a lot of queens here, guys. How many queens did Lambo lose this game? Oh my god, he lost 13 and he's got 13. The man's made 26 queens this game. Holy crap. There's a lot of queens. It's actually kind of crazy as they try and fight you against the Marines. Obviously, it's not the greatest damage output, which is the problem, and I kind of prefer them to just start targeting medevacs in this scenario. They're not gaining anything targeting the Marines, but if you target fire the medevacs, you could genuinely... Oh my god, the Banelings get through. Clem GG's. I actually think if you target the medevacs, he was there for so long, he would have had at least a couple of kills, or you would have forced the Marines back. Let's see if he can keep that idea alive and make it a reality here as we kick into game number 4. Bottom left-hand side from the Shopify Rebellion, it is Lambo. Top right from Team Liquid, Clem. Map 4. To get this started up. The scans have been good. This finals has been awesome so far. Some very fun stuff here. Hatch, gas. Soon to be a spawning pool. Well, let's get number 4. And just taking a few moments early. Sorry, guys, again, long day. 10.5. I actually don't know when the last time I streamed 10.5 hours was. I'm kind of curious, though. I'm gonna look it up. When did I last stream 10.5 hours? Probably a long ass time ago. I don't know how to see that anymore. Genuinely curious. Last time we did 10 hours was 27th of July we did 10 hours. Not 10.5 though, was it? Damn. I would have done some in May for sure. 9. Tuesday the 14th of June, 10 hours and 55 minutes. This is 20 minutes or longer. This is our longest stream in like months, seriously. And today's been kind of wild, huh? I did a lot of long streams in April, Jesus. I don't know what I streamed in April, but it was long as hell. Alright, Reaper shows up as it's a roach roaring from Lambo. It's a very odd map for roaches because it's not what you would usually expect roaches, right? Maybe that's the genius of it, but it is double gas from Clem, so he's not going to be exposed on a 3cc. And that immediately sets you up, in theory, to be in a better spot than usual for defending against this. So that bodes well for Clem at the moment, and Lambo's decision to mix it up here. might not work out. It still can, just because it's double gas doesn't mean Clem instantly holds. It just means he does have faster access to the the starport and, maybe a Banshee and so on. And if Clem builds the right units, they're just going to be ready sooner, so then it's much less likely it works. It's very possible Clem does not build the right units, and then you still just don't have what you need to defend. 7 roaches on the way up. This Reaper would love to get in to spot this and to really see what's up. Jumps the natural right now. Still doesn't really get to see. As the problem is right now, Ling speed is about to kick in. In Clem's head, Ling speed is about to finish. Which means this Reaper is trying to be very careful and stay away from what could be a surge of Lings down the ramp out of nowhere. Clem knows, though, that this is also the time he's got to try and spot for the roaches, because the Hellions are here, and he gets to see the roaches straight away. Marauder and Concussive Shells is already built, and it felt like he was already somewhat aware of what Lambo was trying to do. And, yeah. Well. Away we go, I suppose, as our roaches are going to arrive. This is going to be a very difficult bust, as you're probably going to have to sell for very little here as Lambo. Deep on this low ground, I just don't think he even busts up this ramp in the slightest. I don't think that's really possible here. 2 Widow Mines, well, his first roach has to at least eat one of those. The second roach actually hits the splash as well. Throws a ballast towards those mines as he gets into the base, but we're not going to find any SCVs. This was pretty much worst case scenario for Lambo. He finds a depot and a few units, which, considering the amount he's lost out on there, absolutely was not worth the few units he was able to get. Just doesn't make up for that at all. And he's still losing roaches over here as well. My goodness. Did he kill an SCV at the end? He's killed 1 SCV with this entire attack. So Lambo's opening is a disaster. And Clem opening the double gas. Not playing greedy despite the size of the map. Going to benefit him massively. Gets the scout off in time to prepare. It's a long map, so the roaches take a while to hit. And that just means that, you actually have the time to get the bunker up, the marauders out, etc. Clem just a good read on the game, and he's going to hold on very comfortably here so far. Drone's coming over, a couple of Evo Chambers dropping down. Banshee gonna start moving out. It's gonna be a couple of Banshees through the top. Get set up here initially. There is on the way through, +1 missiles and carapace building as well. Queens get here, Banshee's getting shoved away. I'm at least not finding any damage. I mean, that's something for Lambo to look at and say, okay, cool, well, I've been greedy as crap on the back end of that failed attack. So, being greedy and not getting punished for it so far is nice. Score was a little late, though, wasn't it? And that's going to mean we are going to lose 6 workers. We put the damage on 2 different Banshees there. They both take hits. It's kind of rough, because this spaw's a bit to the right as well, man. Did I really just speak too soon? Because this was not really looking great at all, and all of a sudden, boom, 11 drones died. It really looked kind of like Clem was just out of options in terms of getting damage done here. He's back again, more drones. He looped back around with the Banshees. He knows he's out of energy soon. He knows there's not really a good way out, so he's just going for as much as possible. He gets 16 workers. Oh, I'm sorry for opening my mouth, Lambo. It really felt like it was pretty safe to say you'd pretty much held on. You pretty much dealt with the pressure, but apparently that's not the case in the slightest. And Clem finds 16 drones in the back end of that, which is going to depower this 1-1 roach time, and I'm pretty sure Lambo is heading towards pretty heavily. 64 drones seems to be all he wants, no 4th hatchery. Clem really would have to be very crazy here to lose out against this, I think, because he already has 2 tanks. He'll have his own 1-1 upgrade, so he's not going to be outmatched upgrade-wise, which is actually pretty important for playing the bio count against the roaches. Clem's actually pushing forward, which I feel is wild, obviously. I mean, roaches don't have roach speed yet. Clem Maybe if he can find some damage already, but it does seem to be going the other way right now. It definitely feels like Lambo is the one that is benefiting from Clem being a little bit kind of ferocious out in the center of the map. There we go, Roach Ravager showing up, CC going down, you have the Spore there, helping to get a kill. A couple of corrosive files coming down on some of these siege tanks, hits a medevac as well. The start for Lambo is really not that bad, it's just the Roach count isn't what it needs to be to continue through against this bio army, and yeah, Lambo, I was going to say, I think probably knows it, because he kind of just sat there dying. I was about to say, I feel like he might be looking at GG, and he GG's. So Clem ties it up 2-2, and now don't wait any longer. One last map tonight between Lambo and Clem here in the ESL Open Cup Europe. Let's do it, guys. In the bottom right. My mouse is off the screen. I don't know, I'm on the wrong side of the map. In the bottom right, the yellow Zerg player is Lambo. Taking on to the top left at Teal Terran. This is Clem. Like I said, being a hell of a day, being a lot of good games. Let's see if Lambo Clem will come out victorious on top of the EPT. Open Cup Europe. ESL Open Cup Europe, not EPT. He's part of the EPT. Part of the Pro Tour. All the acronyms all over the place. It's tough, guys. What can I say? It's not easy. Talking is hard. Especially when you've got to say the right thing. That's really difficult. Hey. Got ourselves set up here as Hatchcast and Spawning Pool is all on the way down. And ready to go early as a couple of drones coming out and just see ourselves getting set up. STV wants to drop down a command center, gonna place that into the natural to begin with. And it's a short map. I feel like after the last game, Lambo doesn't roach, and I feel like Clem makes that call and plays 1 gas 3cc. Then again, Clem is a guy that even when it doesn't come to being safe and stuff, just likes playing some aggressive builds sometimes, so maybe he'll play double gas just for the sake of being able to be aggressive and knowing that that's sometimes where he can excel the most as well when the game is in his own hands micro-wise very early on. Factory. Second gas. No. It's going to be 3cc, isn't it? So yeah, Clem looking as though he's going to play the economy that this time around. Obviously can build it on location too, which is really nice, building a third on location, even if it is a 3/4 base of minerals, a half base of gas. It's still absolutely worthwhile to get that down on location. You gotta love that. And that's why the Terrans do like doing it on this map, but that's where the size of the map and roach rushes can be very effective, and that's something that Clem just doesn't have to worry about here. Like I said, I think Lambo scared himself away from doing any further roach rushes this series with how the previous one went. Which I guess it's kind of sad, right? It's like, it would have been great in this scenario, but you've been scared off of it, and Clem probably feels more comfortable than ever in being able to do it. Coming back over. A couple things going to come and try and get a bit of a nibble on, but nothing too crazy. Obviously, the Reaper just staying safe. Just trying to spot the timing of roaches, right? This is the time where they'd be leaving the base, so really important to spot that when you maybe could be punished if Lambo did kind of go against your prediction of, you know, not roach rushing a second time. So yeah, Clem just being safe anyways, being secure, just making sure he dots all the crosses the T's and dots the I's, whatever it is. My brain doesn't work at this point, guys. Yeah, just making sure that it's absolutely what he expects it to be. Not going to get caught off guard and lose this final maps in a silly way. Give himself the best possible chance of doing something cool here. Aliens and the Reaper are looking around, and that's not going to find too much on the other side. In terms of unit count, it has only been 2 Hellions in the Reaper initially for kind of on-the-map units. No extra Hellions. It's a very fast extra Rax and Stim from Clem, so he's going to be up in the pressure pretty soon, and that could be dangerous for Lambo. If he doesn't quite recognize that there's about to be 16 Marines on his front doorstep. I mean, right now, he's building a whole chunk of drones, and there's a Baneling nest as well. That's not really going to be done in time either. He needs Zerglings, and he kind of needs them right now. He's taking gases. That's not Zerglings. He needs Zerglings, guys. Like, this is... he's got 6 Queens, but they're also being drawn around all over the place because of the 2 Hellions. Clem lifts up. He starts to move. Lambo double evoed before he starts building units. He's going to be on 65 workers. Don't get me wrong, this isn't like a super aggressive all-in attack or anything from Clem. It's just, it's got potential to snowball if Lambo's not ready. 20 Lings on the way. Never been happy to see 20 Lings building. As we're still going to have a tough time defending this 4th base, I think, because the Queens aren't joined up here or anything. Lambo supply block 2. So that's the end of his unit production for a little while. These first Queens need to be careful. There's 8 of them out. Cancel on the 4th base. Clem's already going to be happy with that. 2nd Overlord kill. And now we scan for some creep spread. There's no Lings, so he can just go after the Queens a little bit. Yeah, and without the Lings in front, the Queens can take some damage there. And yeah, that's something that Clem's happy to do. A couple drones go down, and I mean, now Clem will probably rotate, just look for further creep spread denial. He's actually going to find another Overlord, by the way. So that's a 3rd Overlord that drops. Feels like Lambo got set up against... I mean, it feels like he just wasn't ready for Stim this quickly, mostly. Which is a shame because those Overlords at this point should have just been pulling back. Because they're not even really providing much for you because you've already got kind of creep there, right? Like, they don't really provide any extra vision. It's time for them to pull back and you just didn't pull them back at all, so... Yeah, losing a bunch of Ovies, and that's painful having to replace those while you're under pressure. And this is one of those scenarios where Clem is already off to a good start, and like I say, snowballing is absolutely an effect that Clem can make out of a scenario like this one, so... As Lambo gets a hatchery in the back, taking that backward base already. I mean, you may as well take it instead of macro hatch, because it's not like you've got to take extra space on the map or anything. Of course, we've not seen Clem reinforce at all. All of this has been off these first 2 medevacs, and yeah, that's kind of a whole deal, right? That's kind of a whole deal as our Marines and medevacs continue down the bottom. Away they go. Lifting up once again, just going to drop back off. Maybe seeing the army here, maybe not find the best place to drop. Going to lose a 2nd medevac. Oh god, Clem. Bit of a disaster. A fight that could have been cool for him if everything was in the right setup, but I mean, he loses a lot straight away. The 1-1 upgrades were done for him. That was an upgrade advantage. That was a time and he could have made more of, but unfortunately couldn't quite find it. I've got Lambo on a bit of a counterattack, trying to take this momentum into something. He needs to split from this Widow line, which he does. Ling's got the tank. His mineral line in some trouble as Clem. Oh my god, Lambo. He could have had Banelings towards those SCVs. He had 2 Banelings left, and they just took a while. They took the wrong turn. In the end, they end up leaving. I felt like that could have been something, because then the SCVs would have had to run and let the Lings get a better surround. Okay, Clem gets out of a bit of trouble there. Lambo lost a lot of units too, and that's worth knowing because now his supply is trailing a little bit as Clem comes stimming down the right. There are units here at least, and Lambo will defend, but Clem has a lot back at home as he's getting a 4th base into a planetary, and when that is a planetary, he might look to start pushing. He might look to start pushing with 2-2 as well. He's going to have a tank count to work with also. He'll have that upgrade lead. Clem has a few moments in this game where he's going to have powerful attacks set up and ready to go. Marines load up, boosting back through the center over to the left. Going all the way back. Marines unloading in the middle and just going to start pushing down the ramp. A bit of creep spread that will be in some trouble here as we push on through. First queen going down already. We're going to scan. We're going to clean out a whole bunch more creep as Lambo sets up potentially a big surround. In we go. Tanks are not sieged just yet. Clem's not quite ready, and he is going to get surrounded. The Beamling should not. Oh no, you're kidding me. They could have been so good. There's one still going for it as Lambo surges forward, looking for his third ever EPT Open Cup win. In we go. Lings are surrounded in full. The units have had to lift. Lambo, go kill some drones. Go kill some SCVs. Sorry, please. He's got a mineral line he can kill. He's got a few that peel off to the back. I love that. Feels like enough bio coming out to defend this now. But the few Lings in the back are going to get just a couple more SCVs. Forces Clem to pull further back again. And Lambo can now set up reinforcements here. Clem wasn't ready for that attack from all sides. Lambo launches. And yeah, Clem just wasn't sieged or anything right there. Not sieged or anything. My goodness. This has turned into a wild game here, guys. This Lings and Bane's going to come on forward. We're going to have a look to see what they can do as they push up this ramp. This planetary fortress will be in some trouble. SCVs are going to get there for the repair. More Lings showing up, more Banes. He doesn't kill it. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. The fact that this base survives is phenomenal for Clem. He loses SCVs, but not having to replace the command center. That means he keeps mining from it as SCVs come back online. And like I say, that is a huge deal. My goodness. What a swing that could be. Because Lambo gave up a lot to try bust it down. And missing his chance on it is, like I say, it's expensive, right? It is expensive. Bioforce coming down the bottom here. Clem looking to push as now he knows that Lambo's lost a bunch of units that didn't really do what they needed to. I thought Lambo was on a push to victory, and now it looks like it might be Clem. These games have been back and forth. Banes are crashing into tanks. There's going to be so many Marines left over to turn and fight. They're winning on the right. They're winning on the left. They're winning the entire series and today's tournament. Clem 3-2 over Lambo. Lambo fought every which way he could. Oh, if he kills that fourth, does that make the difference on this push now? It might. Ah, man. What a game. What a series. What a best of 5. What a final here today in the ESL.